Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 27th of December for the Sun or the Ascendant. This is an exciting week where we make the transition from the old to the new. And please stay with me. I'm going to give you a broad overview of what to expect, but then we'll dive deep for each of the 12 zodiac signs. Now this week sees Uranus very prominent in the sign of Taurus. It's forging an amazing link with the Sun and a challenging link to Saturn. Saturn's in the futuristic sign of Aquarius. So where we're realistic about the future, it will support us, particularly as it forges a very enabling link to Mars, the planet of passion, in the sign of Sagittarius, is about expansion. So if we're thinking about expansion but going through all the research and really taking things on a step-by-step basis, Saturn will reward us. If we try to rush things, Saturn's clash with Uranus will just stress us out. The big picture of this week is the collection of energy in the sign of Capricorn. But this does see Mercury going into its shadow period in this sign, and despite the fact that it does meet with Pluto, which could see us very analytical, I think a lot of people are going to be thinking about what their role in life is, what their goals are, their ambitions for the new year. So as we set that intention, all those resolutions, I think we're all going to be trying to keep our feet very much on the ground, which is a good thing. But Mercury's retrograde just says that as we make our way into the new year, things can alter quite quickly. So even the best laid plans need to be made, but with a mindfulness that flexibility is going to be important. And it could be other people that actually in some ways force our hand because of Mercury moving at the end of this week into the sign of the group Aquarius. So it may be a friend, somebody who we feel we can connect with in a collaborative way. Maybe their situation is going to change. So goal setting for ourselves, that's going to be straightforward, but where we have to link to others or rely on the support of others, that may be more complex. Also, Jupiter moves into one of its two home zones on Wednesday of Pisces. It's going to be moving through Pisces twice in 22, but also the sign of Aries twice as well. So that's really, really exciting. But this initial movement of Jupiter into Pisces also sees it link in a right angle to the North Node in the sector of communication. Jupiter in Pisces is very spiritual. It can see us, see the best in people and situations, but it also can be maybe a little bit too hopeful. So again, the theme is to be as realistic as possible. But the wonderful new moon in Capricorn at the end of this week and its link with Uranus just suggests that innovation, technology, new approaches to our lives in lots of different ways are going to be a massive theme throughout year 2022. Sometimes change is as good as a rest, but sometimes staying as we are just isn't an option. So when we're forced to make changes, that's a much more uncomfortable process. And that could be where the clash between Saturn and Uranus shows itself. But if we can be progressive, embrace new possibilities, try to think outside the box, we can make the most of this transition into this new year. Now please stay with me for your detailed zodiac sign, but if you've yet to order your year 2022 personal forecast, please see the link beneath this video. You can get 30% off and a character analysis, and don't worry, when you order it, I will give you 12 months full months from the time of that order, or if you still order just at the end of year 21, you will get the rest of that year free. Hello Cancer and welcome to your in-depth forecast for week commencing the 27th of December. There's an awful lot about your situation that involves how you connect to others. So that doesn't necessarily just mean relationships, it means relating. It can also mean where we need to compete. It may also mean how we want to shape other people's perception of how we interact with them. So there's lots of different strands with having that big cluster of energy in the sign of Capricorn, your opposite sign. Also, with Mars collaborating with Saturn so effectively, if there are some practical changes you want to bring about in your world, even thinking carefully about your resources, perhaps it is a time to think about some of the outgoings you might want to cut back on a little bit, or others you may want to invest a little bit more in. So all of this may require you to interact with somebody else. So it would be wrong to just think about the medium of relationships. But Venus, the planet of relating, is of course in its retrograde, in a conjunction with the sign of Pluto as the week begins, but that's stretching out as the week goes on. But we do have the Sun forging that amazing link to Uranus from midweek, and that embraces the new moon on the 2nd as the week draws to a close. So your long-term plan, if it involves collaborating with people that you have a real sense of connection with or who share similar values, that really looks very positive for how you go into this new year. But equally, Uranus is the planet of truth, and it is the planet of separation when things aren't going so well. So with Mercury connecting with Pluto, that is going to give you an opportunity to think very carefully about some key relationships. And I think that that's really the message of this week. It's not just relationships only through the romantic prism. It's all sorts of interactions with others. So as you make the transition from one year to the next, that continues to be a giant theme in your situation. But with Mercury moving as the week draws to a close into the sign of Aquarius, you can also think about business resources, longer term financial planning, and if you have thought you'd like to work for yourself or perhaps collaboratively with someone else, then this week can see lots of lively conversations and thinking too. I'd like to wish you a very happy new year and goodbye for now.